Wow. Wow, it's getting heated. It's getting heated as Earl the Truth Spence Jr. responds to Terence Bud Crawford's reaction to Sebastian Fundora shocking the world, defeating Tim Tszyu in the upset to become the unified WBC WBO Junior Middleweight World Champion, as Terence Crawford had petitioned to be the WBO mandatory challenger with President Mr. Paco. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, Errol Spence decided to throw his hat in the ring and say, no, I want the winner. And since Sebastian Fundora and Tim Tszyu are both with the PBC, right? Since they're both with the PBC, Premier Boxing Champion founder and advisor Al Heyman and Leonard Ellerbe, CEO of Mayweather Promotions, he stated that Errol Spence is family. And Errol Spence is going to get the nod. He is going to get the first dibs, although he just got absolutely dominated by Terence Bud Crawford July 29th in a massive, undefeated, undisputed welterweight showdown that saw Terence Crawford shock the world and beat Errol Spence like no other. It was unexpected. He dropped him in the second round, twice in the seventh round, then stopped him in the ninth round. And all those rounds in between, he battered Errol Spence. Now, Errol Spence, he stated that because he had an eye injury and he had cataracts that was covering his eye, right? That forced Errol Spence to not be able to see the hooks, haka, haka, and the jab, of Terence Bud Crawford. He simply could not see him. So Terence Crawford wasn't happy. Although they had an immediate rematch clause. They have an immediate rematch clause, right? Okay, and it was said that Errol Spence, because he had the eye injury and he had to have cataract surgery, right, that he would not be able to participate in the rematch. Also, you got to keep in mind, Showtime got out the business of the sport of boxing after 37 years of being in the sport of boxing, right? So Showtime got out the business of the sport of boxing. With that said, that left the rematch in no man's land. In no man's land. Who's going to pay for it? They didn't want to make this fight to begin with. So it was said by Steven Espinosa that Terence Crawford agreed to move up to 154 and all the demands for Errol Spence, including demands that Errol Spence wanted outside of the initial contract. Terence Crawford agreed to make this fight, right? And so now, Errol Spence apparently told Terence Crawford, I don't want to hold up your career. I'm not going to be ready. So Terence Crawford decided, okay, I'm going to move on. I'm going to look to become a 4-division champion. He's already a 3-division champion. He's already undisputed in 2 separate weight classes. And he's widely acknowledged as the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. So Terence Bud Crawford, right, wants to accomplish that goal. Errol Spence not going to be ready. So he petitioned the WBO. Seemed like an easy path, right? Wrong. Seemed like an extremely easy path, right? Wrong to the WBO title. Errol Spence decided that I'm on a fight. And the PBC is saying, well, we're going to give Errol Spence the opportunity to fight for the title because he's family. Although Terence Crawford just dominated him over Tim Tszyu. So Terence Crawford, he responds. And he had this to say. He tells Errol Spence, you got to wait in line, buddy. Right? You lost. You took some L's. To who? To me. Right? So now, buddy, you got to wait in line. This is what Terence Crawford had to say. Bang! As you see, right there, right? He says, you lost, sir. He said, you lost. Gotta work your way back up. Bang! You see it. Right? Then he said, at Errol Spence, right? You see that right there. He says, at Errol Spence, sorry, buddy, you got to wait in line. Right? Bang. Then he said that Errol Spence looks like a linebacker. Right? So now, Errol Spence, he decided, well, I'm not going to sit idle and just listen to these insults from Terence Bud Crawford. So Errol Spence, he responds to Terence Bud Crawford in typical Errol Spence manner, right? And he says this, bang! to Terence Bud Crawford saying, sorry, buddy, you got to wait your turn. You got to wait in line. Errol Spence said, I don't know, champ. I don't do lines. Whoa. So you understand what he's getting at. We know what he's trying to get at when he says, sorry, champ, I don't do lines, right? And again, these politics, right? Now, we know, obviously, what Errol Spence is hitting at. He's being funny. He's being sarcastic. So we know what he's talking about. But at the end of the day, when you look at it from this standpoint, you got to say, these are the politics within the sport of boxing that's absolutely destroying the sport of boxing that we love. It is destroying the sport of boxing that we love. That's what it's doing. It's destroying the sport of boxing that we love. And so with that said, now you have a situation where the WBO has to make a decision, as well as Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu has a rematch clause. And now Sebastian Fundora's team is saying that Tim Tszyu, the rematch clause is soft. That Tim Tszyu, has to have a victory first, and he has to heal up first, and then they'll look into a rematch. So looks like Tim Tszyu is going to be on the outs looking in. And then Fundora, he said that he wants Terence Crawford. He said Terence Crawford is the best fighter in the world. I love Errol Spence, but Terence Crawford is the best fighter in the world, and I want to face off against Terence Bud Crawford. That's what Sebastian Fundora stated. Now, it was shocking. This was, a lot of asterisks by this victory for Fundora, because Tim Tszyu suffered a massive gash on the top of his head from an elbow from Sebastian Fundora, right? And so because of that, that made, Tim Tszyu, it hindered his vision. The blood was in his eyes. He just couldn't see, right? So it's an asterisk by it. So Tim Tszyu deserves his opportunity at a rematch, but there's politics. And now Terence Crawford dominated Errol Spence. Sebastian Fundora was coming off of a knockout loss himself and became a world champion. Errol Spence got in the ring after Sebastian Fundora victory, and Errol Spence, he said this, right? As you can see, Errol Spence, he said, he bet on Sebastian Fundora, right? He had bet on Sebastian Fundora to win this fight. And he also stated that, not only did he bet on Sebastian Fundora to win this fight, but now he has to go and take what's rightfully his, from Sebastian Fundora. So, Errol Spence is saying that, it's time, that he go up to 154. And then Sebastian Fundora, his team, they stated that, this fight would be huge. He stated that, Terence Crawford just simply would not be able to do what what Errol Spence can do at, get this, AT&T Dallas Cowboy Stadium, which is a clear indication that they already have plans, to make this fight versus, Errol the True Spence Jr. at AT&T Dallas Cowboy Stadium. So let's listen to this, right? As you can see, so Errol Spence said, now I got to go take his stuff. And then Team Fundora said, Terence Crawford can't sell out 90,000 people at AT&T Dallas Cowboy Stadium, which means is a clear indication that they already had that in the works. So drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. So all I got for y'all, I'm gone. Peace.